Hello. Oi. I'm here. Sorry, y'all. Hope everyone is doing well. I hope the audio is okay, because I don't know. I think it should be, though. It should be okay. Let me know, though. But yeah, hey Nathan, hey Kawan, hey Sandy. Hope you are all doing well tonight. It has been a crazy weekend, as you guys can imagine. If you know, you know. Okay, you can hear me. How's the music? Is it not too loud? It's not too quiet? Hey, Angel. Reboot the shows. What do you mean? Alright, well, hi everyone. Volume is good, okay. Hey, Franklin. But yes, hello. Welcome to General Hospital MV My GH After Show. Before we get into it, I'm sure most of you guys know this already, but last night I had my second concert at a place called the Starlight Room, which is one of the best venues in Edmonton to play at. And I've been to like hundreds of concerts there since I was, like 18. And it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience. I am so tired. I'm so tired, you guys. I stayed at the venue with, most of the dudes. One of them went home a little bit earlier than the rest of us. Plus the other bands, some of them stuck around as well. We all just kind of drank and talked and had a good time. And then after that, I went home and... as you do, everyone's that is at the show is like filming you and stuff. So now I'm going through like the Instagram tag, checking out all the stories and seeing all the footage come in. And at the same time, my drummer is also a photographer, and he got a friend of ours to use his camera to take pictures of us while we played. So he was editing those. And so it was pretty much an all-nighter for me. I think I got to bed around 6 a.m. Am I going to post it? I'm going to post some footage. I don't have a whole lot. My mom was there, and she did try to film lots. Except her camera ran out of memory, or her phone ran out of memory. So there's a bit of madness in there. I think she got like 3 or 4 songs in. So I'm gonna piece together some stuff. I posted some stuff in the stories. I did post a little bit of madness and a little bit of sex dreams, from the set in the small shorts, not stories, shorts, on YouTube. But there will be more as well. I just didn't have a chance to put that together because I was kind of doing everything else today in terms of like. The thank you post, posting the official photos from the show. Some of them I posted on the YouTube community tab as well. But most of it's on the Instagram for my band, which is just Dion Gabriel Music if you want to check it out. There's some stuff on there already. As well as footage of the other bands, because I'm still supporting the rest of the bands that play there, as I do when I'm not also playing it. So I was kind of in 2 modes during that concert. But it was a lot of fun, and it was nice to be back on like a stage. The first show, it was at a dive bar called Black Bar, which is a great bar, but it's definitely a different experience performing at like a bar in front of like a window on a floor than it is to like be on a stage with lighting and all these effects going on. And you can really hear yourself a lot better, better in that setting as well. So it was nice. Because of that, I felt more confident on stage, which is great. What is your writing process when writing a song? Do words and music come first? Lyrics, well, so I mean, most of the time, because this is my first time with a band. I'm like searching through instrumentals that are on YouTube that you can buy to use, and then I write the lyrics. The lyrics do come before the harmonies, though, for sure. And I kind of just listen to the track first, and I kind of try to get a sense of like the vibe that the music gives off of, and I go from there. And then it just kind of flows from that point. So yeah, I mean, even my two singles, you guys obviously get to see a lot of the other demos because I post a lot of the demos on YouTube. But the two singles, Madness and I Don't Like You, were so fun to write and sing, just because those were the two songs that I really had a blast, really sort of just being a bit unhinged with my writing, but also like drawing from experiences. But yeah, and now I have a little break from performing until the end of August, which is great because now that I've seen like what my act essentially looks like on a stage, and getting to hear it fully with decent sound and everything, I kind of know what I want to tweak for the next show, and maybe add a newer single to the next set. So I don't know, but it was such a cool moment, and I'm especially grateful because not only was it my first time playing Starlight Room, but it was also my drummer's first time. He's never had the chance to play it before, and also my bass player Rob, who stepped in for Ray for this show, and it was just really cool seeing how stoked they were and how excited they were, even leading up to it. I don't know, it just felt like a really wholesome moment between three of us. Bernie, my guitarist, he's played Starlight Room more times than I can count. He used to be in the band Nicholas Rage, who I've talked about on here as well. So not new for him, but I don't know, it was still really cool nonetheless to even share the Starlight Room stage, one of the stages, with him. And AJ and Rob, and I don't know, it just felt, it was just such a feel-good night. My grandmother couldn't go to the show because there's a lot of stairs for the Starlight Room, that venue, and she doesn't walk very well, and she uses a walker, but it would just be too much. Like, even like the washroom is like the basement level, and we were on the top level performing, so it just wouldn't have worked. But on the plus side, she went to bingo and she won $1,000. So the universe works in mysterious ways. So it all worked out, and then she got to see what footage my mom managed to get, at least, and I've been getting stuff from other friends too, sending me their footage as well. So it's been nice. All right, though. But enough about me. Hey, de Havilland. We're not just here to talk about me. We're here to talk about General Hospital because it's General Hospital after show. But I just wanted to give you guys just sort of like how I felt and how it went. I did forget some of my lyrics for a moment, but I feel like I covered it well enough that nobody noticed, hopefully, for God's sakes. I think it was just like the surreal moment of like, just being up there. Not even being nervous, just like being up there and just like, is this happening? I had that moment in like 2 different songs. It isn't handicap accessible, the venue. Not really. Starlight Room is such an old building. It's just hard to maneuver. It really is. And it would have been daunting. The venue also has no like seating, and that would be hard on my grandmother. Plus, if she did bring her walker to sit on, everyone's standing, so she wouldn't be able to see anyway. So it just wouldn't have been a great experience for her. But the staff is really great. I'm sure that they would have helped her out, but we just didn't want to put my grandmother through that, especially knowing that the next concert that I'm at, it is a much better venue suited for her. There are tables and chairs. It's one floor. Hey, Brooklyn. It's one floor. So, and the set, now that I've played my first, like, bigger stage concert, will be even better. And in all fairness, the set that I performed at this show was the exact same set that I performed at my first. Like, nothing was different. Like, the songs were all the same. I didn't add anything. But yeah, so it was kind of like a test, like a trial run for me, essentially, to see how the show would translate onto a bigger stage than like a dive bar. And it translated well. So I'm very pleased. But now that I've seen everything, there's definitely some stuff I want to tweak in terms of the mixing and stuff. But it went well, and I had like a great sound guy too. He just he's been a pro, and he's been at so many shows at Starlights, and he just does his own thing, and he knows what he's doing. So I felt very in good hands. But anyway, now, sorry, you guys got me talking about it again. But now we'll get into General Hospital. Welcome to General Hospital Envy, my GH after show. We're gonna hit the highlights of the show. I mean, I'll touch base on as many of the things as possible. But you guys seen the thumbnail. We're talking about Mac for sure. We're talking about Finn for sure, and we're talking about Carly finding out the truth about why Jason is having to work for the FBI. And then the things in between as well, we'll touch on as well. But yeah, first thing I want to get into is the fact that Mac is back. Let's just start with him. If you missed it, Mac Scorpio is back in Port Charles, reunited with Felicia, Maxie, the grandkids, Spinelli too, and of course, Anna and Robert, and his son Cody, who he still doesn't know is his son. And if you guys missed it, if you weren't here a few days ago, we were watching John York's first scene as Mac, just as like a celebration for his triumph return, and for him defeating cancer and getting back to work. And I'm just so happy to see him back on the show. And it was fun to watch his first scene because dude was sporting an Australian accent. Not a great one, but it was fun to watch. But yeah. Anyway, so John is back from battling with cancer, and Mac is back from whatever his secret mission was, where apparently he was helping out his rival for Felicia's heart, Frisco, with something. We don't know what that something was. Of course, it happened off screen, and apparently Frisco opened up to Mac about his regrets about leaving Felicia, Maxie, and Georgie behind, and just basically thanking him for being there and for having Felicia find love again. And they managed to come to, I guess, almost a bit of a friendship, which is something I didn't expect. I didn't know what they were going to say Mac was doing, because I forget where they said that he was, but they really didn't touch base on what he was doing, what he was up to. And they still didn't, despite him like saying that he was with Frisco. We don't know what they were doing, and I'm curious as to what they were doing, because it just seems kind of weird that they're having like a detective do some WSB stuff with Frisco. Like, that seems so weird. And Angel, yeah, I agree with you, and that's literally almost verbatim like what's in my note. What's in my notes here. Kaiwan, you said Frisco. What would Frisco need Mac? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't make sense. Why would Mac be sent? Like, why would he need Mac? Of all people. It's fine, but like, why? It just seems like a half-baked reason for him to be back. And Georgie, his youngest daughter, yeah. Shamelessly murdered for sweep stunts. But yeah, anyway, when he does return, he gets caught up with the going-ons in Port Charles, like Jagger being back in town, and Anna being the police commissioner, and Spinelli and Maxie getting back together. I'm sitting here like, now tell Mac that Laura and Anna suddenly hate Sonny's guts and are gunning for him, because that would confuse him. Like, you know, all the cockamamie stuff. Also, Jason being back and alive. Like, does he know that? I don't know. Like, it's so wild. I think John's been gone, what, like 6 or 7 months? Maybe more. Maybe I'm wrong. Definitely under a year. And we've gone through 2 writing teams since he's been gone. That. It's so weird to think about. And so much has happened. It's like, it was almost like, what did he miss and what didn't he miss? Like, I had, like, when they were running through it, I was like, is there anything else that they didn't mention? And I think the only thing that I caught was that Jason was alive. And even then, I'm like, I'm not 100% on that. But I think he came back after Mac had already left. The kid Georgie resembles Lindsay Letterman. Oh my god, I've always said that. Like, the girl that they have playing Maxie's daughter looks so much like Georgie. So much like OG Georgie. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Also, we have we have a new Bailey Lou, who I think has been aged a little bit. It seems like it anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah. We finally see Bailey Lou again for the first time in years. Can't take another second of Malibu Ken. Wait, who's Malibu Ken? What? Oh, wait, no, I know. Never mind. Jagger. Oh, thanks to Havlin. But yeah, beyond that, Cody, of course, is wanting to tell Mac more than ever that he's his son, but he's still reluctant about it. So will he do it? I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's what's gonna end up happening is either Sasha's gonna be the one to initiate it, or Tracy, because he opened up to Tracy about knowing who his father is. He didn't say that it was Mac, but I feel like she'll find out, and she might be the one to tell him for his own good, because she seems very fond of Cody, and I can see her doing that. Just rip off the Band-Aid for him. It's great to see Mac with the whole family. I agree. And Felicia and Mac even got it on a little bit. Oh man, yeah, it is. It really is great to see John York back on the show. I'm so grateful he's back, and that he defeated cancer, and he seems to be thriving. He seems to be in good health. You know, he's got a buzz cut, which Maxie mentions, and you know, it looks good on him. Looks good. He looks great. I'm happy for him. All right, moving on though. Let's talk about Willow's surprise birthday party. Nina had convinced Drew to open the door to have her stick around, and of course Willow gladly let her stay for it because she doesn't know any better. Later on in the week, when Maxie and Nina are discussing it, Maxie points out that she and Drew are manipulating Willow, and if Willow finds out, their relationship may not recover because it's just yet another thing that they're keeping. Well, another thing that Nina is keeping in the dark from Willow. But on top of that, Drew is too. And Drew holds the moon for her right now for whatever reason. And, you know, she's going to feel betrayed by both of them. So, I don't know. I mean, it's not as bad as, like, I don't know. It's not as bad as, like, some of the lies that she's told in the past and the things that she's hidden. But, like, it's still bad. Like, they're literally screwing each other. Nina and Drew. And I'm sure that'll just leave everyone scratching their heads at how Drew, who despises Nina with every bone in his body, except for the one down below, is like screwing her and then like helping her get her daughter back. And it's like, I don't know. It's messy. And then Drew also announced at her birthday that he'd be running for Congress. It wasn't an ego thing. Willow actually sort of made him do it almost. Like, he wasn't going to. By the way, Carly was not happy about Drew paving the way for Nina to stay at Willow's party. Not that she knows that they're sleeping together. Drew just kind of states that Nina got him into the door with the congressman. And that Nina makes Crimson profitable as well. So that was his excuse. And she's just like, please just don't push them together. And he's like, I'm not. I wouldn't manipulate her. But bro, you are manipulating her. Like, you are. uh, I still have no idea where you're getting a kidnapping idea from, because I've not seen any inkling that someone's getting kidnapped in this situation. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh, right. Okay, so, we were talking about Carly, and speaking of Carly, Sam's been giving her one hell of a time this week. First, she begged Carly to help her get Jason to stay away from Danny, because his life is too dangerous. As if Sam didn't have a front row seat to when Carly found out about Jake from Sam herself, and how Carly was really fighting for him to be a part of that baby's life. It was wild. I think I'm really torn with Sam's behavior, because like she rambles on about all the reasons why she wants to keep Jason away from Danny, but essentially it boils down to Jason abandoned his kids twice, which is crazy because like he literally got shot, kicked into the water, kidnapped, held against his will in like a Russian clinic or something, and mind mapped with his twin. Like, what? How? Who could have predicted that? How could Jason have prevented that? Although, like, to be fair, the second time he got blackmailed by the FBI, and Carly calls her out, basically saying, so you're trying to keep Danny away from Jason to punish him for things that were out of his control. However, and I would agree to that for the first point. However, for the FBI thing, Sam and Spinelli also found out this week that Jason was working for the FBI because the FBI had evidence against Carly from when she took over Sonny's organization, or at least claimed to. I guess while they had their meeting with the 5 families back when Sonny was thought to be dead, and was in Nixon Falls, somehow they got a recording of that. And I guess they've been sitting on it for 3 years. For what reason? I have no idea. It is crazy. Nathan, you said not only that, but Sam just illegally was spilling God info about who is protecting Jason, and she's about to get locked up unless Jason saves the day. Most likely. Angel, you said those Sam and Carly seemed out of order. How Sam went from bringing up Morgan in the worst way one day, then next time Carly is like, oh hey Sam. Yeah, it was choppy editing for sure. Very weird. Yeah, they've been sitting on it. Well, I know they've been sitting on it, but like, why? Why have they spent all this time? If they have the evidence to take Carly down, like, they've had it since Jason wasn't being held by the FBI. They've had it for 2 or 3 years before. So why didn't they do it then? They could have ended Sonny's organization when Sonny was out of town for like, however, almost a year it felt like. And Carly was, quote unquote, running things. Like, why didn't they use it on her then to stop the mob? What was the point? Oh, man. Drew was gone for years and still doesn't see Scout now. He's running for Congress and hasn't told Sam. That's true. That's true. Alright. But yeah, so basically, Sam let Carly have it, pointing out that probably something that Carly needed to hear, honestly, and that Jason wasn't the victim in this situation, because of course she made it be like, oh no, poor Jason. But like, it's essentially his kids and his loved ones that are the victims here, because he chose Carly over his kids, and honestly, facts. Like, I can't even deny that. Like, he literally put Carly over his kids. That's messed up. And like, she's not even just Sam's not even referring to just her kids. Like, she's talking about Jake and Elizabeth as well. And, you know, Jason's loved ones, they all were below Carly. And I know that Carly and Jason are best friends, but like, your kids, dude. Your kids. What? Like, that's how I feel right now. Like, it's, and you know, I've felt like that this whole time, but it's like, it really hits home that like Carly, like, wasn't even like, didn't even cross her mind. Like, obviously Carly just found out that she's the reason why Jason is working for the FBI, but like, the fact that her reaction was like, oh, he was just doing what he thought was right, and like, what about his kids? Carly, you're a grown-ass woman. Like, this is your shit. Own it and do, you know, like, he doesn't need to protect you. I think she even pointed out, like, Diane would get her off or something like that. And it's true. Like, they have the best mob lawyer in town. Like, she probably could have gotten, you know, just, like, gotten arrested and got it dealt with and everything. But it didn't happen. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. Like I said, I don't like how Sam has been acting in this whole situation with Jason returning and wanting to keep Danny away from him because his life is so dangerous. And, you know, Carly was spitting facts at her, too, back, like, in the scenes before when she asked for Carly's help to keep Jason away from him. Just being like, you know, like, you chose this life. You fell in love with him. You knew who he was. You don't get to, like, pull that back and keep his kid away from him when you wanted a kid with him in the first place. Heard Morgan is coming back. He's back on set for sure. Brian Craig posted, we talked about this in a couple of live streams, but yeah, he posted an Instagram story, and I don't think he noticed it, but because he was just in a studio where it didn't show any particular set. You could just tell that he was in some kind of studio, but in like the corner, there is like the new photos that GH took for their artwork this year was like right in the corner, and it's obviously the new pictures, and Morgan hasn't been on since what, 2018 or 19, something like that. So the cat's out of the bag on that end. Why the FBI so focused on Carly? Well, because they couldn't get, I mean, I feel like they could get Sonny because of that, right? Because they didn't have the evidence against Sonny for, you know, RICO charges, but they have it on Carly, and Carly's on tape admitting that she's taken over for Sonny. So, I don't know. But why they've been sitting on it for 3 years is, I have no idea. Especially with Sonny spiraling out of control right now. Like, if anything, that would kind of endear them to, like, go harder on him. Jason be damned. You think Brendan and John's falling for Carly? They definitely find her intriguing. Falling for is a bit of a stretch, though. They barely know her. Enamored by her, maybe. But yeah, so, I mean, my thing is with Carly right now, or what I'll ask you guys, what do you think Carly's gonna do? Because Carly now knows the truth. She's obviously, like, confused and shocked that, probably that Jason's in this mess because of her. But, what was I gonna say? And sorry guys, my allergies are acting up a little bit. But do we think that she's gonna turn herself in? Because she should. Maybe she will, maybe she won't, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You think Carly reminds Jagger of Karen? I don't know Karen very well, but she didn't remind me of Carly personally. Just based on the scenes that I've seen of her. Think she's gonna go to prison herself for Jason? She might. That would be like the selfless thing to do. I mean, he sacrificed 2 years of his life for her. Surely she can do the same to get him out of the FBI's grasp. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, how, like, realistically, it would be funny and ironic if Carly does jail time for this because she got away from doing jail time because Jason's brother protected her the last time. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And honestly, Jason's getting tired of being used by the FBI as it is. And at this point, Anna's a loose cannon, saying she's going to get the evidence she needs against Valentine, but making out on a couch with him and admitting her feelings is happening instead. And yes, it could just be a part of the act to keep the charade going, but Jason is over it. Jason's over it. It might end up being his way or no way, because he's outside of Valentine's house looking in like, Jesus, this needs to end now. Nathan, you said, do you think Jason lied to Sam? We don't know when they played that audio to Jason. They had him in a jail with no windows 3 months before they let him out. That video could have been played. I don't know, like, I don't think he lied to Sam necessarily. He just didn't say what it was. He just said that someone he cares about is in trouble, and the only way that they won't is to cooperate with the FBI. He just didn't say who he was protecting, only that he, you know, he's protecting someone that he cares enough about to do this, work with the FBI. Jason will always put Carly first. Well, then he needs to stop trying to be a father. He needs to either go all in with Carly or all in with his kids. Because I think if it gets out to the kids, who most of them aren't even kids anymore, let's face it, that Jason put this woman over them, I feel like they're going to feel a lot stronger about that than Sam is. Like, even Danny, because Danny obviously he really cares about Jason and wants to have him in his life and emulates him in a way. But I mean, I think Danny truly will feel some type of way when he learns that he just put Carly over spending time with his sons. I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel like if I were in that position, if I was like a teenager and my dad was thought to be dead for 2 years and he comes back and I find out that the only reason why he's back was to protect his friend, instead of like letting them know that he was alive, like, that's, you know, everyone that kind of complained about that in the first place, even Sonny, like, he could have reached out to any of them and been like, I'm alive, I can't be with you guys right now, there's good reasons for it. But he didn't even do that, so I don't know. Yeah, he never said what the FBI had to make him cooperate to Sam. You're right, Angel, and that's what I said. It's he just omitted the reason for it. He didn't necessarily lie. He told the truth that there was something being held over his head that the FBI is using to make him cooperate. So he didn't lie. Nathan, you said, here's the big question I want to know. Why did Sam not go to Jason with this info? It's not really about Danny then. Yeah, I mean, for all we know, like, Jason was her next stop, but I think that she was probably seeing red when she heard the recording, and so she went straight gunning for Carly because first of all, she thought that Carly knew, and I feel like she wanted to fish if she did know, and she clearly didn't. And Carly, I mean, Sam knows Carly well enough to know when she's lying and when she's not. She knew that Carly was genuinely shocked that Jason was doing this for her. But I think that her next stop likely is Jason, but she just was seeing red in that moment, and I can't blame her. And plus, like, she doesn't know, or she didn't know where Jason would be at this point. Jason could be anywhere. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, before we get into like the final big topic from this week, we'll quickly touch base on some of the little moments we got as well. Alexis, she got her license back for her law license, but not without Diane trolling her first, which I think the scenes were funny. Diane was like, Diane kind of gave like, do you want the good news or the bad news? And she's like, you get your law license back. And then she's like, but you have to wait. You have a 2-year suspension. And Alexis is like, okay, I can wait 2 more years at this dead-end job. And then Diane was like, but the good news is your case has been going on for 4 years. So your 2-year suspension ended 2 years ago. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Carolyn Hennessy and Nancy just always work so well off of each other, and they clearly have a good time with their scenes. This is the second time a baby daddy of Sam's is willing to leave her kids to protect Carly. Sam's tired. Yeah, I honestly cannot blame her. I can't blame her. And as much of a J-Sam fan that I was, I at this point, like, Sam deserves better. Her kids deserve better. It just is what it is. I don't think there's anything coming back from this. Like, if I know that anyone that's been with been with Jason, or even been with Carly actually, they know that they do put each other first, but it's one thing if you're like in a relationship with someone and Jason's putting his best friend first, or Carly's putting her best friend first. It's another thing when kids are involved, though, because these are the innocent parties. Like, they are the ones that need the parent, and if he's neglecting his kids for his best friend, then that's not a good father. Like, it just isn't. It's sad. And it's so sad that, like, they're writing him as a deadbeat. For all the times that we see, actors leave the show and their characters had kids, and these kids have been abandoned by their dad, and just, they just get passed through a bunch of male characters who all had to step up in the role of the father. I mean, Elizabeth has been through so many at this point, especially with between Lucky and Jason and all her poor kids. They have not had a proper father figure for a long amount of time. Maybe Franco was the longest, and even that's kind of cringe. And then like Finn as well. But now they're broken up too. It's just crazy. I don't know. To have like a guy be on screen and is a deadbeat is just like territory that we haven't been in before. Like, I don't know. It's just wild. Well, I mean, I guess Luke was kind of a deadbeat dad on screen, but he still had relationships with his kids. They just didn't expect much from him, and I think it's probably going to be the same with Jason at this point. They'll tolerate him, but they probably could do without him. Like, they're going to get to that point where they can do without him. Nathan, you're saying at least now Jason wants to reconnect with his sons. He's not turning them away and wants a chance to rebuild his life. Yeah, but he's got to own his past and own the fact that he ditched his kids for Carly. Like, that's a conversation that needs to be had, in my opinion. Like, it's great that you want to reconnect, but first you need to address why you abandoned them and let them express their anger. Sam included, and Elizabeth included. I don't know, I'm hoping that Elizabeth finds out the reason that Jason abandoned his kids too, so that she can have her eyes fully open. Obviously, Jason was there for Elizabeth when she was going through finding Finn with another woman. But, it's great for their friendship, but also I feel like she will feel very similar to Sam once she learns that Carly, or that Jason put Carly over Jake. Cam was getting tired of the revolving door of men. I'm sure they all were. Cam, Jake, and Aiden. They've all experienced it. Man. Alright, what else happened, guys? Sasha and Cody. They nearly made love for the first time in the boathouse, and unfortunately for them, Gio showed up outside the door to practice his violin, I guess away from the house. I don't think he would need to, given how big the house actually is, but whatever. I don't know, it was like funny, but like also just like unnecessary. Angel, you said them making Rick and Lucky a deadbeat made no sense after all that fathering they did prior, especially Lucky. He raised 2 kids that weren't his and couldn't be there for his actual bio kid. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I know that like there were times where they've mentioned that Lucky and his kids like FaceTime all the time, and where they've sent one of his kids to like spend time with him and stuff. And so I think it in Lucky's case it can be easily rectified. Just like, let's say if Lucky were to make a return, just to be like, no, they've had a relationship this whole time, and we just never see it on screen because he's not on screen. They can say that he comes to town often. That's something that can easily be rectified. But with Jason, he is in town, and we know the reason why. We know that he's been neglecting his kids, and that he neglected them for Carly. So, I don't know. Like everyone else that has left the show, it's in the air for them. It really is. There's an easy fix for most of the off-screen dads, but it's just unfortunate that we see it so often. Because I think the audience does have to assume, to some extent, unless they're bringing it up constantly, that these are absent parents, absent dads. Gio had to be a cock blocker. Yep. I mean, in the end, they kind of enjoyed the music, and they were like, this is actually kind of romantic, but like, they obviously can't do the dirty while he's just standing outside the door, because he'll likely hear them. And then they could get in trouble because they're not supposed to be, doing all that while they're under the Q roof working for them. But honestly, I feel like none of them would actually care. We know that Willow is definitely rooting for Sasha and Cody. Michael, he had the talk with Cody and knows his intentions, and so he knows something's going on there. Tracy likes Cody, and she likes Sasha, so I don't see why she'd have an issue. But I think it was just like an unspoken. Well, not even unspoken. I feel like it was Olivia that kind of brought it up with Cody and Sasha, that they shouldn't be doing the thing, but I don't think she'd really care either. I think that she just had to say that to look professional, and that this isn't a free-for-all. Maybe. What else? Oh, Scotty apparently might be the lawyer that could get Heather out of jail. So I guess he's siding with Laura. He also told Lucy that she kind of reminded her of Heather, and that went over so well with her. I like seeing Lynn Herring and Ken Shriner working with each other. They're fun to watch. They're a fun comedy duo. But it just kind of seemed it seemed left field that they were even having that discussion. It seemed out of place in the episode that it happened. Also, since we did kind of talk about Cody and Sasha, Cody, he opened up to Tracy about knowing his father, or knowing who his father is, sorry. Not that he admitted it was Mac, but she did give him her 2 cents on what he should do. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but I think it could, Tracy could get nosy and find out. and then like rip off the band-aid for him. All right, but now let's get into the final main topic. And if I left anything that you guys want to discuss out, let me know at the end of this topic. But we're going to talk about Dr. Hamilton Finn, who is still spiraling out of control. But honestly, I'm really enjoying this story more than the rest of the show right now. And I never thought I'd see the day where I'd find Finn to be the most interesting thing about the show. Obviously, a big part of it is a credit to Michael Easton, who has been nothing short of spectacular during this storyline for himself. And Nancy Lee Grahn and Jane Elliott really got to show their acting chops this week as well. The week actually started with Alexis going to Finn's door, as Chase and Brooklyn had informed her of what's been going on with him, and so she's wanting to give it a try to get through to him as well. Alexis did not mince words with him at all, and Finn's pattern during this downward spiral has been to go in for the attack for anyone that's calling him out on his drinking, and getting defensive about it and insulting them and accusing them of one thing and another. But Alexis wasn't having any of it. First of all, as a recovering alcoholic herself, she's mostly comparing notes from her own experience and calling him out on his denialism, because she's done exactly what he's doing now and he just won't see it, or I don't know. I don't really know too much about alcoholism, beyond like obviously people have a drinking problem and it can make them do crazy things, but like I don't know. It's not necessarily all the same for everyone, but she does see the similarities, and I don't know. I think the only flaw that I have with the story in general is that Finn, who is a doctor, keeps on rambling off like, oh, well, I was addicted to this, and not alcohol. I did that as a precaution, but like, as a doctor, and you've said to many patients that like, you don't touch any kind of substance that can sort of manipulate your brain. Like it's like, I don't know. It just seems stupid that Dr. Finn is using that as an excuse to justify his drinking. Because everyone is looking at him like, you know damn well that it doesn't matter what particular drug you were into, but like you could switch one vice to another, and that's pretty much what he did. But also, someone pointed out the other day, I don't think it was in the stream, but someone somewhere pointed out that Sasha too was an addict, but she was drinking at Willow's party. So I don't know. I mean, to be fair, like, what Sasha had was, like, very addictive drugs. And, she was kind of fed them almost against her will to get through her, like, I don't know, her stressful job at deception. But I don't know. But some people just don't have naturally an addicting trait. Maybe that's why. Like, she wasn't naturally addicted to things. She just ended up taking an addictive drug that was very potent. But maybe she has control of the other things. Clearly, Finn doesn't. That's the thing. Finn doesn't need to be working right now. Liz made the right call. Yeah, we're going to talk about that next, Angel. You said some addicts, their thing is only drugs. The addiction doesn't transfer to other addictive things. Depends on the addict. However, Finn can't handle drugs or alcohol because he will abuse both. Yeah, clearly that's been the lesson. Like, it's interesting because he did quit drinking on his free will. Like, he never had a drinking problem. He never used drinks to lessen his pain, but now he is. And, like, to some extent, you can't really blame him. That, like, losing your dad after having to take care of him, given what their relationship was, it makes sense that he turned to alcohol. But, like, the way he's denying it seems a bit... just because, you're a doctor, you can't make that excuse. You know damn well that that's not the case. But yeah. But before we get into the Liz and Portia stuff, I do want to say that, aside from calling him out on his denialism and the fact that he's saying that everyone but him is wrong and probably, just making excuses as to justify taking Violet away from him, all this other stuff. But Alexis had her mic drop moment when Finn was going in for the attack on her, and Alexis made it seem like Violet was behind him while he was saying all this stuff to her that was just insulting and rude towards her and other people that he cares about. And of course it scared the crap out of him. Not that it got through to him, but I feel like that was like a smart thing for her to do. I think she was hoping that maybe it would at least make him think twice. But he really just told her to get the hell out. And, before she left the apartment, Alexis really showed that she was so heartbroken for him. And this is where I say that Nancy Legron gave an amazing performance, because you could just see, like, the moments where she's just so heartbroken. Like, yeah, she was clapping back and giving as good as he was giving her in terms of insults and everything. But, like, you could tell that it was genuinely out of love, and because she's been there and knows what it's like to hit rock bottom, like, just knowing Alexis's history too, like, you could just see how much of herself she's seen in Finn and how that really sort of scared her. And she just, she goes up to, before she leaves, she just quietly says, the most heartbreaking part is that I know that the guy that I know is in there and realizes how wrong this is. And he's hoping that you can get out. And when you hit rock bottom, please call me. Like, that's, I don't know. It just was so well done. And I was just like, oh, that got to me a little bit when I watched it. However, to make matters even worse, Finn decided it would be a good idea to go back to work early. Not that he took a drink before he went to work. He almost did, though. But Elizabeth had gone to Portia when she had gotten wind that he was coming back to work early, because, Elizabeth has seen the state that he's in, and he is a genuine risk to the patients of GH. So I feel like she did what she had to do by going to Portia on an official capacity. And then when Finn did go back into work, Violet was actually spending the day with Maxine Spinelli and the kids at a pool, or I think just maybe Maxie and the kids at the Metrocourt pool again. And then she went to their house afterwards as well. But Portia and Terry, they pull Finn into their office and essentially give him an ultimatum of either you can go on this regiment so that we can guarantee our patients' safeties from you. You have to agree to, go to AA meetings and take tests to prove that you're not drinking and all this other stuff. And Finn was so pissed off. He was so angry that he quit his job. He quit his job when Portia and Terry were just trying to look out for their patients, and even coming at him like as their, as a friend. They heard what's been going on, and they are concerned for him, and they do care about him. But it's like this is like for the patients, but this is also for you, because you're pushing everyone away. You lost your girlfriend. You lost the family that you had. You lost your dad. We get you're hurting, but this is like, you need to get yourself some help. And again, it's hard. Addicts can't get shoved into help if they don't want it. They have to want to. Finn doesn't want to. So he made his choice and he quit his job, and then he went to the nurse's station and yelled at Elizabeth in front of everyone and said that she will never see Violet again, and just storms off. And then he goes to his house, or his apartment, sorry, and he just drinks himself into a stupor. Like, he drank himself into oblivion. And like I said, at this time Violet was at Maxie's house, but they were going to take her home, and even Maxie was like, I think Finn wants her back, like he would, this is like a hard time for him. She's unaware of his drinking problem, although she gets a sense that something's wrong at home, especially with how Violet was like scared for her dad to be alone. But yeah, that said, Violet gets taken home or dropped off, and when she walks into the apartment, she sees Finn pass out on the floor with a bloody hand because he got cut by broken glass, and he wasn't waking up. And she was like amazingly calm, all things considered. She did the smart thing. She went to find her father's phone. She saw that someone called it, so she called that number. It was Tracy's number, and Tracy thankfully answered the phone. And she's just like, my dad needs help. I think my dad might be dead. And man, my heart, like, even like talking about it now, like, oh, that hit hard. That's like, oh, it sucks. It sucks. Like, she's just a little girl. Like, it's so sad. But yeah, and even like kudos to Joffiel for like putting on a great performance. Like, she's doing a great job at showing like that she is a kid that has had to grow up really, really fast, and like that she just wants to take care of her dad, that she feels guilty about it. And it's funny because like I think what we were all predicting in the last few live streams was that like Violet would get hurt, like physically. Like, in my head I'm thinking like, what if she gets into a car with him and he's drunk and he gets into a crash and she gets hurt. That's what I was thinking. It didn't even occur to me that she could just experience like emotional trauma, or like, I was thinking something like Finn could fall asleep while making something in the oven and the apartment could catch on fire and there's no one there to save her, and all this stuff. All that stuff was going in my head. I didn't even think of like emotional trauma of like Finn being passed out on the floor and Violet being the only one in the house by herself, and she's like, what, 9 years old, and like having to like try to get help for her dad, and then thinking that he was dead because of what she just went through with Gregory. Like, and she, she's never had a mom because of Hayden just being MIA. Like, this girl's been through hell. She's been through hell, and it's so sad and heartbreaking to see her going through this. But yeah, I honestly, like, watching that episode, I actually cried, like, several times. Kaiwani said psychological pain is something. Yeah, it really is something. Yeah, alcoholism does take a lot of emotional stress on the people surrounding that person. But I don't know. I for whatever reason, I think because I'm just like I'm thinking soap opera brain, like, it would be like a classic soap opera to get the child physically hurt from Finn's drinking. Like, it's the predictable route to take. So kudos for GH for not taking the predictable route. But yeah, like, so Tracy, she calls 911 and then goes to Finn's apartment, finds him on the floor, and she checks on him. She's like, oh, I think he's just sleeping. And Violet's like, on the floor? Only problem is the story's going too fast. That's fair. But yeah, the paramedics show up to deal with Finn, and Tracy's just trying her best to sort of play things off as like, oh, your dad's hurt, but he'll be fine. And the paramedics are very like, drunk isn't an emergency or something stupid like that. And Tracy's like, I know that, you know that, she doesn't know that. Like, those paramedics were like, I was just like, really? Like, do your job properly, read the room. There's a little girl right there who had to be the one to call Tracy to call a paramedic, and while Tracy didn't, I mean, I doubt Tracy thought that Finn was really dead. Maybe there was a bit of, like, inkling that maybe she thought it was a possibility, because who knows. But I think Tracy probably knew that this has something to do with his drinking, whatever this is. But yeah, Tracy got Violet out of there while the paramedics dealt with Finn. Took her to Chase and Brooklyn's house and filled them in on what happened, and basically suggested that they take her to the Q's house and spend the night there, because, you know, if Finn wakes up and sees that his daughter is gone, Chase's place is gonna be the first place that he looks. So Tracy was thinking about the trauma of Finn banging on the door demanding his daughter back, because at this point Finn is unhinged enough that I think that he would have done that, and he still could. But yeah, after that, Tracy goes back to Finn's apartment, sees if he's sobered up. He's still passed out. Now he was propped up on the couch by the paramedics. His hand is wrapped up in bandages. And Tracy's just assessing the room and looking at, like, the bottle of tequila and the smashed glass on the floor and the blood and Finn passed out, and just, like, taking in the situation, and then also taking her phone and taking pictures. Now, if you guys remember, Chase and Brooklyn had a conversation with, I think, with Alexis, or was it Chase's conversation with Stella? I think Chase's conversation with Stella, where she suggested, like, obviously Child Protective Services can't do anything without proof, so she suggested that they documented it, and I'm sure that they passed it on to Tracy, and that's what Tracy was doing. And while Tracy's doing this, she's bawling her eyes out. Like, she's like devastated that her friend is in this state. And again, kudos to Jane Elliott. Like, she broke my heart too. But yeah. And then she woke him up. Okay. Maybe Angel, you know what did Tracy have in her purse that snapped him out of whatever had him, you know, the alcohol that had him passed out? What did she snap in his nose or mouth? Like, what woke him up? Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe it's not even like a thing that I shouldn't know, but I just genuinely don't know. Oh, you think because Tracy knows about this because of Dylan? Yeah, you got to build a case for CPS to do anything. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, Stella told Chase that. And Chase and Brooklyn, I feel like they probably likely they filled Tracy in on that. Like, because obviously their priority is Violet. And I think Tracy, some Narcan. Okay. But, yeah, I don't know. I think Tracy knows how to deal with alcoholics because of Edward and AJ. Was Edward an alcoholic? I know Alan was a drug addict, and AJ was a drunk, and Monica was a drunk as well. But I didn't know about Edward. Anyway, though, where was I? Yeah, Tracy wakes Finn up, and she just says, well, he asks where Violet is, and she was like, Violet is gone and she's not coming back. And that's kind of how the episode ends. But yeah, like, honestly, my heart broke for those scenes. Like, the saddest part is that Violet really blames herself because she wasn't around when Finn was sad. She feels like it's her job to take care of him. She's there asking Chase to teach her how to cook so that she can cook for her dad and take care of him. And, like, again, like, it's just so heartbreaking that Violet is having to be the parent in the situation, and the girl is like 9 years old. Like, that's so wild. And like it's just it's a sad sight. It's a sad sight. But I don't know. I just have to give kudos to all the cast that's involved in the story, because they're all doing such a great job with it. Yes, the story is being a little bit rushed. I honestly don't mind it being rushed, because I feel like to some extent we all seen this coming anyway, and I think it would have been harder to watch like a slow moving train with this story. And you know, we all complain that some stories get dragged out all the time, and it's like you know, these days I feel like generally the audience's attention span, we're a lot more impatient nowadays than we used to be. So we want instant gratification. I think they're trying to go that route with the story. I'm okay with it. I mean, and I'm also like slightly okay with it because like this was probably building up inside of Finn this past year with his father's condition. Like he's probably desperately wanting a drink. He's probably wanted drinks several times over, and we've seen that he had been going to AA meetings more often. And then when his father died, I think that was just like the snap point to just go all in with it. So I don't know. To some extent, it makes sense. But even if that wasn't the case, I'm more than okay with them just getting us to the bad stuff right away. Because I don't know if I would be able to handle like a slow burn version of this with Finn and with Violet, and you know, the train wreck with Elizabeth and Chase and in Brooklyn. I'm glad that it's kind of all happening all at once. I feel like it almost makes it heavier because it's all happening all at once, and it's making the cast bring their A game to the story right away. So, you know, kudos again. Hey, Jacarius. Jane, you said, you think it was smelling sauce? Some kind of smelling salt, and she weighed in and has noticed first laughing. How have y'all been? I've been good. I was a little bit late. Angel, you said, I don't mind it being rushed. See, okay. I'm glad you agree. You said, I don't want to see 2-3 months of Finn drinking and nobody not doing anything about it. I don't care enough about Finn to sit through that. That's also valid, honestly. Like, and that's the thing. Even I said, like, I can't. The first thing I started was in this live stream was, I can't believe Finn is the most interesting part of the show for me right now. It's crazy. But yeah, I've been good, Jacarius. I was a little bit flustered getting here. I was late to the live stream. I performed last night, so it was a lot of fun. But I had so much like leftover stuff to do from the show, just like going through photos and footage and social media content and all the official photos and all this stuff. What is going on with Finn? Aren't you watching the show? Violet found her dad passed out on the floor with a bloody hand, and she had to call for help, and that's probably going to make him lose custody of his kid. And if that doesn't make him want to quit drinking, I don't know what will. But yeah, that's all the notes that I had for today. We touched on all the important bits. I don't think I left anything worth talking about out, even though we had to kind of speed run this with me being late, and also talking about the show earlier, or my concert. And yes, there will be footage of it. Probably not till later on this week, just because I need to just catch up on like the rest of life now, because this weekend was all about that, and I'm still not even through all that. I still gotta get my money to the band, or our money to the band as well. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on the matter. We will be back on Wednesday. I don't know what we're reacting to. It might just be a hangout live stream, honestly, in this case, just to give me slightly more time to just get my shit together in life, now that I can finally take a little bit of a breather from having performed. Angel said, I like Michael Easton, but the Finn character is so boring. Yeah, I found him more fascinating when Finn was first on and he had a bit of a quirkier personality. Just because he was just, I don't know, he was just so different from Silas. And now it kind of feels like Silas and Finn are essentially the same person. I miss Roxy the lizard. But yeah, he's just lost a lot of part of his like charming and quirky personality. The things that made me like Finn initially. But thankfully Michael Easton is great enough of an actor that in something like this, for this kind of story, he's holding our interest because he's that good. But anyway, though, I think I'm going to end the live stream here. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys Wednesday. We're just going to hang out on Wednesday. We don't know what happened to Roxy, honestly. Roxy might still be there. We just never see her. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys this Wednesday. If you liked this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. Again, you'll get some concert footage sometime later this week. But there are some shorts on YouTube already of a couple of the performances. So check those out in the meantime. But yeah, catch you guys Wednesday. Mwah! See you later.